So here's the deal. The message was in response to a Facebook user who said he hoped it turns out well for your son. Chargers are horrible at stopping the running game. So Cheryl Bosa responded, "It bums me out for him so much. Wish we had pulled an Eli Manning on draft day." A source told the San Diego Union Tribune that the post was left by Cheryl Bosa, and then a source confirmed the post's authenticity to ESPN's Jim Trotter. The post has since been removed from Facebook. Oh, Max. Is it time for Joey to return to camp?
No. No, absolutely not. Let me tell everyone what's going on here. And Jamie Hoyle on boltsfromtheblue.com does a very good job of laying this out. But there are two issues in the contract. Now, since the new slotting system, everything should be easy in terms of signing your draft picks. But there have been two issues since that Luck RG3 year where they had issues with the draft picks. There's a signing bonus paid by the team, and players want that signing bonus by the end of their first year. And then there's something called offset language, which means if they cut you after the fourth year, you know, that fifth team option year, you still get the money, okay? If you sign with another team, the team that you took the money from wants to recoup that money. The players are saying, no, we get the money, plus we get the money from the other team we sign with. That's offset language. Since this has gone into effect in 2012, every number 3 pick gets either the offset language out of there or their signing bonus by the end of their rookie year. That's what Joey Bosa is asking for. Nothing special, just to be treated like every number 3 pick since 2012. 11, 12, this is the 5th draft now. He'd be the 5th guy. Everyone has been treated before. I want to be treated the same way. Now, the Chargers are standing on their own ceremony. The Chargers are saying, that's not the way we do things. That's disingenuous because the Chargers haven't drafted in the top 5 since the new slotting system. And this is becoming a battleground, and I wonder if this is the Chargers acting alone or if they're getting pressure from other NFL teams. Here's the battleground, Stephen A. 3 of the top 5 picks this year get either the offset language or they get the signing bonus, one or the other. 3 of the top 5 who have signed so far. It means top 6, really, because Bosa would be the 6th one. If Bosa doesn't get it, if the Chargers get their way, it's 3 out of 6. That's 50-50. That means going forward, teams will be able to say, hey, this is a 50-50 thing. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. If he gets it, that's 4 out of 6. It's 2/3 of the time. Well, you know, guys can credibly go to the teams next year and say, this is precedent. Top 5 pick gets this. So this has become a battleground. I think Bosa, considering everyone before him since the slotting system who's been drafted 3rd has gotten it, he should get one or the other. He's not making an unreasonable demand. The Chargers, I think, are being disingenuous standing on ceremony, Stephen A.
I think you're being unnecessarily complicated. Let me explain. All of the things that you said are right, because it does come down, you know, to that offset language in the contract or one full cash payout. We get all of that. Bosa wants all of his money. Some would argue he's being a bit unreasonable because the Chargers have called him and talked about giving him more money up front in terms of the cash payout. You may not get it all, but you might get like 16 of the 17 million or whatever the case may be. He wants every penny or he wants that offset language eradicated, etc. You can look at it that way. But here's why I would tell you you're being unnecessarily complicated. Because you're brilliant, and this is what you do. You know what I'm saying? You're like one of those politicians on Sunday mornings where you're talking about politics.
Everybody like, gives me a compliment. It's always
we're all trying to understand what the hell you're saying. Here's the deal. Let me make it simple for you, Max Kellerman. The Chargers are dead wrong. And they're dead wrong because of their own dereliction of duty. We all know that teams tend to communicate with these players they're about to draft before the draft. You know who you are. You know what your policy is. You know what you stand for. Joey Bosa's father held out for 42 days back in his playing days, if I remember correctly. The apple doesn't fall too far from the daggone tree. You knew what was coming. Do your damn homework. And understand that this is a dude that you might not be able to get away with that with and move forward. Kim Dichie was out there along with various others. You could have gone in a different direction. You do your homework. homework is the San Diego Chargers, an organization, by the way, that's missed the playoffs 5 of the last 6 years, whose defense was ranked 21 last year and 20th in yards, who could use the motor of a Joey Bosa, who needs to be in camp, no doubt about it. But if you're the San Diego Chargers, you know, there was rumors about whether or not you're going to move to L.A., you're going to move to Vegas. You missed the playoffs 5 of the last 6 years. You wet the bed last year. You went 4-12. I mean, everything that you look at with this franchise, the audacity, the unmitigated goal for you to sit up here and hold firm to your position. What position? Their position is that we don't negotiate with these terms. This is the way that it's going to be. It's not that damn complicated. The San Diego Chargers dropped the ball because they didn't do their homework and their due diligence enough to know we might not need to grab this dude because the position that we plan on holding firm to is not something that he's going to budge on.
Well, think
about what this comes down
about
to.
What an idiotic policy it is, therefore, for the San Diego Chargers. I'm not even disputing what you're saying. That's true. They could have gone in another direction with a player who would have been more amenable to being railroaded by the team, even though, as is pointed out, the number 3 pick since the slotting system always gets one or the other out. That precedent has been set. But it is really idiotic if that's the policy of the Chargers. And this isn't just kind of a battleground for the NFL generally on this issue, because now what players know is if you're going to be drafted in the top 5, you want to force your way out of San Diego. I mean, the last time they had a top 3 pick, it was Eli Manning, and look what happened.
That's right.
It's happening again.
He wouldn't even call up if he wants to show up to the Giants. They had to trade the pick. But let's go through a couple of numbers just to make sure our audience understands. In the case of Carson Wentz, drafted number 2 overall, I'm reading from an article here by Michael Gelkin. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. But here's what he said. Wentz, number 2 overall pick, receiving 94.3% of his $17.69 million signing bonus this calendar year. Only $1 million of it is being deferred into 2017. So he's getting most of that chunk of money that he's looking for. Just a little bit deferred, but he's getting most of it, which buffers Bosa'S argument. Then you've got the fact that had Bosa showed up to camp last week and accepted the offer on the table, he would have been paid less in cash than the 4 picks who came after him. He was scheduled to make $10.45 million. The Jaguars' number 5 pick, Jalen Ramsey, said $12.6 million. Okay, at picks 6 and 7, Ravens offensive tackle Ronnie Stanley and 49ers defensive end DeForest Buckner are at $13.55 and $11.88 million respectively. So if you're Joey Bosa, here's what I would say against Joey Bosa. If the Chargers step up and they say, at least allow us to defer $2 million, we'll give you 15, and you're getting paid more than those other dudes behind you, now it shouldn't be an argument. Well, you shouldn't find yourself in a situation where you're Joey Bosa, you're a rookie coming into this league, you've got some things to prove, you've got teammates that you don't want to alienate, even though they all understand business. Again, it's one thing to hold firm to your position that you shouldn't be paid less than the 4 picks subsequently behind you. It's another thing entirely if the San Diego Chargers something wrong with them. I won't even say the word I was going to say. But there's something totally different. If they step up and they say those 4 picks behind you that were getting paid more than you, we will erase that. We will make sure you get paid all of them up front this first year. If San Diego does that, Joey Bosa should have his behind in camp.
Okay, see, I think it's bigger than that, though. I think it is an issue of principle here, and it could turn into something between the players' union and their agents, of course, the various agents for the players, and the NFL, the teams. And by the way, I wonder if San Diego, I'm not saying I know, but if the fact is that San Diego is being pressured by other teams, I wonder if that's collusion, and I wonder what the remedy is to toe the line here.
I don't think that's the case.
Maybe not. Goff, the number 1 pick, you mentioned Wentz. Goff got both the language out of there that they wanted, right? So the offset language is gone. He got the offset language gone, and he got his bonus.
But he's not with the Chargers, and even Jacksonville does that.
That's one. The number 5, another top 5 pick got both. And here he is, and here's Bosa just saying, I just want one or the other,
Yeah, but-
as is always the case. For the Chargers to say we don't do that when they haven't drafted in
They're a
this position.
family-owned business. They're a family-owned business.
But you know what this reminds me of, Stephen A?
Hold on. They're complaining about the arena and the stadium in San Diego, which is why there's been rumors for years about the possibility of them moving, etc. You've got all of that going on. So if this is their policy, I'm not saying they're right. I'm not defending the San Diego Chargers by any stretch of the imagination. What I am saying, however, is if you are Bosa, I understand your principle, but do you want to play football or not? I'm not telling you to sacrifice your money like that. But my God, if they give you $15 million and they just defer $2 million, you trying to tell me you're the number 3 overall pick coming out of Ohio State
I'm
looking to
saying
play
that's
pro?
reasonable.
That's
what
reasonable.
you're saying is reasonable, but there may be a bigger issue attached to this where maybe he wants to stand on principle. And by the way, Spanos.
Well, then let him go. Let him go someplace else. Let him go someplace else.
Well, right. That's the idea. That's why his mom is saying we should have pulled an Eli.
Well,
you brought up Spanos. They were belly aching over the Kroenke deal in L.A. Same sort of thing. Like they're complaining, like the Monopoly man with the pockets empty. Like I don't have any money. You know, because they're complaining because they're not as rich as some richer owners. They're complaining because they do things in an antiquated way, which has changed.
Which debunks the theory of collusion. You don't have to collude with San Diego. They're relatively cheap. They're not trying to come out with the dollars.
That might be right.
This is who they are.
Bosa has to sign his contract today, or he can't be traded to any other team. And then if he remains with the team unsigned, he has until the first day of the 2017 draft to sign with the Chargers there. So the clock is ticking. Meanwhile, friend of the show, Josh Norman, he was just with us at Redskins camp, but he didn't tell us he got a new gig. And the kicker, he didn't fill in his day job. We'll explain and get into it when we come back.